Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you jump on live here on this Wednesday evening, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure to give the video a like. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Video on all social media platforms. Tell your friends, tell your family about the channel, and make sure that you click that bell so you'll get notified whenever we go live. Good evening, Keveron. Glad to have you here as always. And Keveron, you know that every day is a good day to be a Clemson Tiger fan. And if you're one of the over 700 people that has watched the video that I put on Facebook earlier today, thank you very much. I might get to 1,000 views by tomorrow. It's just me talking about an upcoming wrestling show that I've got next month. But to get to 700 views in a couple of hours feels pretty good. So if you watched it, thank you very much. But since it's a Wednesday, it's time for another weekly top 10. I'm doing this one because earlier this week, I want to say it was Monday, but I could be wrong. It may have been Sunday, but I know it wasn't yesterday. But earlier this week, I saw an article that was the 10 worst states to live in. And when I saw it, my first thought was, well, I'll do that for a countdown coming up on Wednesday. And then I thought, no, I'm not. Because there's already enough negativity in the world. I didn't want to add to it. So I thought, why not do the positive side, the best 10 states to live in. Now, according to the article that I read earlier today, the state that's number one has been number one for, I think it said 6 straight years. It was 5 or 6 straight years. One of the up top for a while now. I enjoy reading articles like this because I can ask one person, what they would say is the best state or worst state, because unless you've lived in all 50 states, you really can't have an opinion on what state's the best or worst because you don't know. And there's probably not very many people who have lived in all 50 states. Most people have lived in, 4 or 5 max. So, their opinion can only be the states they've lived in. You really can't compare a state you've lived in to a state you haven't lived in because you haven't lived there. You don't know. And very few people have lived in all 50 states, if anybody has. But if you like hot weather, of course, you're going to pick a hot weather state. If you like cold weather, of course, you're going to pick a cold weather state. If you like, states that have big, or Atlanta or, Dallas, Texas, well, you're going to pick a state that has, one of the major market cities in it. If you like states that are quiet and small, then you're going to pick a state like a Wyoming or a Rhode Island. So everybody's opinion is going to be different. So when I read stuff like this, it makes me wonder, how do they define what's a good state to live in and what's a bad state to live in? Because I know the people that do these articles haven't lived in all 50 states. Hey there, Kayla. Glad to have you here. Kayla, I don't think I recognize your name. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for being here tonight. Feel free to give the video a like, a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, tell your family about the channel, and make sure you click that bell so you'll get notified whenever we go live. But I didn't read all 10 states, little info about them as to why they're ranked where they are. But I did read what it said about the number one state. And I won't tell you everything the article said, but I'll kind of, sum it up and make it short for you when I get there. So without further ado, let's do the top 10 best states to live in 2026. Number 10, Maine. Number 9, New Jersey. Number 8, Minnesota. Number 7, Connecticut. And number 6, Hawaii. Again, 10 through 6, Maine, New Jersey, Minnesota, Connecticut, and Hawaii. Number 5, New Hampshire. Number 4, Virginia. Number 3, North Dakota. Number 2, Massachusetts. And number 1, Nebraska. Now, there was about a half a page article on each state as to why it's ranked, inside the top 10 where it is. Hey there, I'm going to hope that's Crystalline. If I pronounced your name wrong, I apologize. But if it is Crystalline, well, glad to have you here, Crystalline. If you are new to the channel, and I think you are, I don't recognize that name unless you've changed your YouTube account name. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel. Feel free to give the video a like, a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, tell your family about the channel, and make sure to click that bell so you'll get notified whenever we go live. If you're asking me if I'm a ref, yes I am. Matter of fact, this month marks 19 years that I've been an independent professional wrestling referee, and hopefully I've got at least 19 more years in me. As long as I can get down and get back up, I have no intention of stopping and slowing down anytime soon, especially with an 8-year-old son that is dying to be a wrestler. I want to be able to stick around and ref some of his matches. And Crystalline, it's the same kind of wrestling that comes on TV, like a AEW, a WWE, a TNA, a MLW, whatever organization you want to use. It's professional wrestling, but it's, instead of me traveling the world and never being at home and missing my wife and kids, it's just local guys, but it's the same kind of wrestling that comes on TV. Same thing. It's called independent professional wrestling. So, same kind as that, just local stuff. But thank you for asking, Crystalline. But don't worry, this is not a wrestling channel. I do talk wrestling, but it's not every day and not every video. I also talk college football. I talk NFL. I talk college basketball. I talk NBA. I talk NASCAR. I talk baseball. And you see tonight was a top 10 countdown that wasn't about sports or wrestling at all. So there's a variety of stuff here on the channel. And Crystalline, my pastor's son actually did high school wrestling when he was in high school. So I do know some about, not necessarily just, folk style, but, that kind of, mat wrestling altogether. But I'm a huge wrestling fan. But it did say that Nebraska's number 1 because in most states now, there's a huge epidemic with pain pills and opioids, so to speak. It did say that Nebraska, since 2017, has done a complete, like, full throttle breakdown and breakthrough on the opioid epidemic. So it's not near as bad there as it is in most states. And between that and the cost of living and the fact that the weather there's pretty nice year round, that's basically why Nebraska's number 1. Nebraska, even in the summertime, they don't have a lot of humidity. So even when they hit 95, 95 feels like 95, whereas in some states, 95 feels like 112. So even Nebraska's summers aren't that bad. And in the wintertime, it's not like some places where it's, negative degrees. It never gets that cold, and it snows, but it doesn't snow a whole lot. So their summers aren't really hot, and their winters aren't really, really cold, and the opioid epidemic is not as bad there as it is in a lot of states, which is good. I think every state should crack down the way Nebraska has. So that's basically what's got Nebraska at the top. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I had a neck brace fitted 5 years ago, and I haven't looked back since. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count. Tell your friends and family.